I'm replacing the motor from a 94 Jeep Grand Cherokee that I found in the junkyard. Because it was painted, I figured it was rebuilt. It was kind of looks like it was freshly rebuilt, and then somebody wrecked it. So anyway, I pull it out of the junkyard and I'm putting it in a 94 Jeep Grand Cherokee ZJ 4.0 inline six, and I'm putting it in my 96 Jeep Grand Cherokee ZJ with a 4.0 inline six. The reason why I want to keep this Jeep though is I put lockers on both front and back. I've jacked it up a little, and boy, I put a lot of work into this. I replaced the starter, the fuel pump, the water pump. So I just don't want to get rid of it. It costs way too much to get one that runs this good. But I was just going to tell you about a problem I had. Anyway, I put the motor down there. Since that's a rebuilt transmission, I wanted to use the torque converter that came with the transmission. So I left that on there, and I put this 94 Jeep Grand Cherokee motor in there and tried to mount it. Once I had it installed in there, I tried to mount it onto the torque converter down there. And I bolted it all on, and the torque converter turned freely, but the bolt holes of the torque converter didn't match the flex plate or the drive plate here of the 94. So I was going the 96 torque converter to a 94 flex plate or drive plate. So what you have to do is the holes don't line up. They're off about 1/8 of an inch. What you have to do is with the old motor, pull off the flex plate pull off the old flex plate. That way I can and it mounts right onto the old 94. Everything mounts perfectly on this 94 Jeep Grand Cherokee motor, except for, apparently the flex plate and the torque converter are off just a little bit by 1/8 of an inch. So if you're putting in a new flex plate, make sure it's a 96, and the torque converter, make sure it's a 96, because the 94 doesn't quite match on that. But it's no big deal. But other than I had to pull the whole freaking motor out of there after I had it all installed, and it's an 1/8 of an inch off on the torque converter. I had to pull the whole stupid thing out of there. But just giving you a heads up that a 94 96 the torque converter and flywheel aren't quite the same. So